So this is another tough video, so tell a friend video. And this time it's about a private corona poll. So what I usually do when I go jogging, so I go jogging like between 60 minutes and 120 minutes, very slow, but for that amount of time. And because of these corona polls, actually this extended to usually double the time. So my speed was really, really slow because most of the people had to stand and then discuss for 3, 4, 5 minutes what they think about corona. And I have 40 participants. And why did I do the corona poll? And that was for two reasons. First, I wanted to see what the population, the pop, thinks. Yeah, just rough. What do they think? And the second thing is I wanted to improve. Yeah, I wanted to improve. So my reasoning. So do I put it in the right words, and do I know enough? Do they bring an argument which I cannot counter? And so fantastic. So I had 40 occasions to actually discuss with people, and it took me just to, I think it was like 3 days. No, it was like 7 days. 7 days because. So I will go one by one through them. What I asked them is, what do you think about corona? And then most of the people are very puzzled. Why? And then I usually started like, do you like it? Do you like the measures? Can you imagine who is behind it? And then, anybody died in your like proximity, a relative, a friend or so? Do you know about somebody that died? And then, if the discussion then kind of went a little bit down, then I asked, so what do you think about vaccination? Are you in favor of forced vaccination? And if they said, yes, I'm in favor of forced vaccination, then I usually continued with, okay, that means how do you actually think that a forced vaccination can work? Do they come with the police? And so I went all through that. And and a lot of people then kind of, you noticed how their intellect actually tried to get out of that situation because they noticed, I'm now in a situation where, oops, that is bad. Oh, that is bad. I can't get out of this. And then they usually got very aggressive or said, I don't have time, or they wanted to leave and so on. I don't want to think about that, and or leave me alone, and I want to think about that once the vaccination, once they come and want to vaccinate me, then I will refuse, and so on. So this was kind of the argumentation for the forced vaccination. Now, the first was a jogger, a female jogger, blonde, about 50 years old, and she said, it's a strange situation, very, very strange. Like, my feeling is this is very strange. But what can we do? What can we do? We can do nothing. Then I asked a soldier, it was a soldier, and he said, oh, look, the thing is, I think this is a total disaster. This is somebody messing us up completely. And then I asked about the forced vaccination, and he said, oh, look, I cannot refuse. I'm a soldier, so if they say you have to receive this vaccine, then I have to receive it, otherwise I lose my job or whatever. They can force me. Then a couple, they are around 55 years, and they actually had corona, and they were the most ferocious people in favor of corona measures. Any measure is perfect, excellent. Oh, we could have died. And I think we need the most severe measures, and it doesn't matter if we lock down the country for a year, doesn't matter. If you don't do these measures, we all die. Okay, then a pharmacist, and she says this is a catastrophe. This is a massively manipulated thing, but the thing that makes her even more upset, which makes her, be very, very, she almost can't sleep anymore, because 90% of the population say, oh, doesn't matter, they are like a herd of sheep, and say, oh yeah, I don't care. So that makes her upset because it's so obvious that there is some manipulation going on. Then we have an optician, and she said, oh, this is fantastic. I work less, get the same money. This is all fantastic. I can do my hobbies. Oh, fantastic. Great. I love it. I really like it. Yes, that's good. And when I asked her further what she thinks about, vaccination and so, oh, no, not a problem. Yeah, that's fine. Half-time work and full pay. Great. Okay. Then a couple, I think they were around like teachers or something like that. And they were completely uncritical, completely uninformed. They said they sometimes watch TV, and then on TV they say, oh, the new corona numbers, and they watch it and say, ooh, that's dangerous. Yeah, let's do whatever they say. They said, it's a little bit strange, why do we have to do that? But yeah, well, what can we do? And then the ninth is exactly of this age group, which is the most terrible. Like it's like this couple, so around 50 years old, very good job, but fat, pre-diabetes, problems with respiration, problems with heart, not a lot of sports, so their physical condition is terrible, and they are so afraid to die. So all measures are perfect. We follow them to we wear masks all the time, and everybody should be arrested that doesn't wear. Terrible. We could all die. And then a guy that is working in the road construction, and he said, oh, this is so messed up, this game. They are fooling us. It's terrible. I think he would have been somebody, if you give him a weapon, he would actually do something. Then somebody that's selling food in the streets or in a shop, and also the server that serves there, the waitress that serves there. They are all, this is all fake. This is all terrible. We are manipulated, and the politicians cannot do anything against the medical lobby. So this is terrible. But we cannot do anything. What can we do? Then the 13th, that is like a clerk, about 25 years old, relatively, from what he looked like, not very kind of like sports active, but very active in his brain. And he says, this is all a fake. This is terrible. They manipulate us. Terrible. And I think it was his brother from the looks. And he was kind of working in the restaurant, in the food industry, or in the food service, in cafes, restaurants. And so he was working, serving there. And he was also somebody that worked out a lot in the gym, which he can't do anymore. And he said most of these shops where he was working for went already bankrupt or will go bankrupt. And he says he is not afraid of the virus. It's a normal thing. It's just a flu, a little bit maybe harder, but he's tough and he could stand it. And then somebody at the age group 55, a very high level job, a C-level job, and he says, well, something is strange, but everything is kind of going legal. Yeah, and so it's okay. I cannot do something, but it's tough. But what he does is then said he's going to day trading, and he buys stock, and he actually was able to sell stock before the Corona crisis, and now is investing so he was seeing it as an opportunity to kind of make some money. And the rest he doesn't ask about. Then an Italian friend of mine via phone, this is all a fake. This is all fake. They manipulate us. Then another Italian friend, she says, this is very strange. I think there is some lobbyism, but I do not want anybody to die, so nobody should die. So we keep the measures. They are maybe a little bit strong and so on, but yeah, I don't want to kill anybody. So that's her. And then somebody at the age group of 50, does a lot of sports, and he says, well, I'm in between of these extremists that says it's all a fake and it's a crime, and the others that carry the masks. So he says, in the middle, that's the right thing. Be in the middle. And so he says, well, yes, then wear the masks and just wait for it, and it will go over, and let them do what they want, and I, concentrate on my stuff. Then an Italian friend of mine, he has a sailing boat which he can't visit now. And he actually comes from was working in the medical industry, and he says, lobby, yes, sure, all the time, yes, but not at this level. No, no, no. It's a very, very terrible virus, and I think that we have to do something against it. So he hasn't been working in this field for maybe 5, 6, 8 years. But what he says is lobby, yes, but they wouldn't do it at this scale. So yeah, he thinks it will go over. Then a friend in Italy as well, and he's afraid. He's afraid. Why? Diabetes and overweight. So he has a lot of, he's terrorized by fear, and I think he actually uses Corona to say that's the blame for me having these disablements, that I'm fat and I have diabetes. So that's the reason. Corona is the reason. And he waits for the healing, the vaccination from above. Somebody gives him the vaccination, and then everything will be fine. Then there is a lady with a dog, and she was walking the dog, and she initially said, well, yes, it'll be fine, fine. And then I said, yes, but do you like it? Do you like the measures? And she started to say, well, my friend works in the food industry. And he says, disaster. He might have to close. It's terrible, but what can we do? Nothing. Maybe we go to a demonstration against these measures. But we can't do anything. My friend most probably will go bankrupt. But what can we do? Nothing. Then an old jogger, maybe at around 70, but relatively fit, not slim and so on. And he says, masks are okay, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Distancing, perfect. 150, perfect. Yeah, great. I'll do that. Yeah. We do everything. No, he didn't. No. I watch TV. I read the newspapers. Perfect. Everything perfect. Our government does the right thing. Excellent. And the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry does the right thing, and I wait for the vaccine. Then an elderly couple, 80 and above. The male, perfect what Merkel does. Drosten is a professor. You can trust him, and the TV, and you watch ARD, so the German first program and the second program, and they all say the same. So the Drosten is perfect, Merkel is perfect. Yeah, they do a great job. They fantastic. Give them a lot of rewards. So he's afraid of dying if he gets the virus. So he's terrorized by the virus. So sits at home for, I don't know, 6 weeks or so. Doesn't go out, never. And the lady, she is not afraid, but what can she do? She goes shopping and helps source masks, and prepares masks, gives them to people, helps, and so on. But we cannot do anything. I don't question it. I'm not afraid. I have no fear, but we cannot do anything about it. Then 25 and 26, two ladies, and they were around 25, maybe 25 years old, and here this was crazy, and they didn't know anything. So they said, yeah, there's Corona, yeah, we just do what we are told. And I asked, wait, do you get information? Well, no. TV, I sometimes watch TV. I try to avoid it a little bit. I just do what I have to do, and yeah, fine. No, I don't want to know more. I don't research. And when I said, did you check the numbers and different scientists? No. So this was kind of, for me, maybe the blueprint of this new generation of people between after school, so 22 to maybe so it's this fourth 7-year slot, so from 21 to 28, where I would say they don't care, no, Incredible. 27 to 29, that was a mother, maybe at the age of 45, a little bit fat, with a son who was relatively fit. You know, he actually wore sports stuff. And he was speaking, and his mother was nodding. And he said, "This is all a fake. This is made up. Please let it go over. Please, please, please. But we cannot do anything. Please, politicians, stop this thing. Please, 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 stop it." And then 29 was a jogger. Oh, that was funny. He was around 45, and he was jogging really, really fast. And so I had to turn around and then ran with him at high speed. And I asked him, yeah, what do you think about Corona? And he said, "Leave me alone. It's all okay. It's all perfect. I like it. I love it. And I do not want to talk about it. I really like Corona." 30 that was a high school student. She was jogging also very fast. So she was jogging very fast, and I asked, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I'm in my final exams, and I do only concentrate on my final exams. I do not read anything about Corona. I do not listen to anything." So I can kind of understand that high school, so a more important goal for her to finish her high school graduation. Maybe she wants to become a doctor, and then she needs a 1.0, an A plus high school graduation. So I can understand that. So 31 was somebody working in the housing business, and he said, "All fake. They fool us. It's a flu, and they really fool us. But we cannot do something." And then he reported that he actually has a friend that he knows, that is a doctor, and that doctor said, "Well, in a year's time, we will know how hard the virus will be, or will have been, or how dangerous it would have been." And then number 33 is that was very, very interesting. He's working in the housing business, but construction site. So working on construction site as a head of a construction workers. And he said, "Look, Corona is a good thing, because it tells us two things. It tells us we shouldn't think that our medical treatments is better, our system, our modern life is better than nature, can protect us from the fear of diseases," which is, I think, exactly the opposite, because now the vaccines say that we use technology to actually beat a disease. So I think that was wrong reasoning, but I just polled, I just interviewed. And the second thing, that was an interesting thing, that is, with Corona, now we will all earn much less. And a lot of people actually live in a way that at the end of the month, they don't have any money left. And now with Corona, they really face this problem, including me, he said. So we received a wake-up call to be more prudent with money, and to save and put it in a bank, and to keep something for rough times. So he said that's really good. But he didn't question anything about whether we should do measures or not. The only thing he said, on construction sites, we are allowed not to wear masks. So that's good, and I don't care, and I don't wear masks. Okay. Then 34. About 50-year-old lady with a dog. And she says, everything's fine, social distancing, mask, perfect. And I said, and how about forced vaccination? And she said, if they tell me forced vaccination, then I will oppose. But for now, not. No. And I said, but they're trying to put that through the parliament. No, I don't care. If they come and there should be a vaccine and they will force me to, then I think about it. Okay? 35. Oh yeah, there was a 25-year-old with a dog, and I asked her, and she immediately said, "Yeah, I informed myself very well about this, and I think the measures are okay, and so on." And I said, "Yeah, but so I asked some questions. I think the second question, like, who do you think the curves go down or goes up, or how many people actually died, and how many are those in Germany, for example, like 6,000 people died, and maybe only 1,000 people died actually of corona and not with corona." And she said, "Look, I didn't, I didn't dig that deep into I just watched TV and I consumed TV." That's what I said now. That she consumed TV. And so just a normal, no, I didn't go out on the internet and looked for information. No, I just looked at the media, and that's fine. And so she was a little bit uneasy, and maybe she went home and then researched a little bit, but I don't know. Then an old lady. Oh, that was fantastic. An old man, maybe around 70 years old. Yeah, still very fit. And he said, don't ask me. No, why? Don't ask me. I don't want to talk about this. And then I explained to him, yeah, but I continued and then was jogging at his speed, so very slow, because he was walking. And for about 7 minutes, I talked to him, and I explained, and because he said eventually, because that is the really great stuff with people that say, yeah, vaccination is good. And then I say, okay, vaccination for measles, okay, fine. For polio, fine. Okay, now for the flu, would you force that? Well, not forced. And I said, but the thing is that if you receive a vaccination, then you might not have to carry a mask. Well, yes, that could be, and that makes sense. And I say, okay, so if in December you get a vaccination, you don't have a mask, and the people that don't get the vaccination, they have to wear a mask. So you see the difference. But how can you control? How can you check one side that he has been vaccinated and he not? He said, "Well, I don't know." Yeah, look, he has to go when he goes and takes the train or the air to go to the airport to get a flight. Then you need to know, and on the bus you need to know, and so he needs to have a sticker. So he has a golden sticker, and then, well, maybe no, I don't know. And I said, and then after a year, maybe 90% have been vaccinated, and then what will happen? Will they then get a mark that they have not received vaccination? And in most of these cases, he replied by saying, "Yeah, yes, that could be." And I said, "Yes, but is that good? Is that good?" Well, no. Yes, maybe, no. And I said, "But if it's a forced vaccination, do you want the police to take them and then put them to..." No, and tie them and give them the vaccination. No. And I said, "But then what do you do? Do they lock them away?" Well, yes. And then, he struggled. Then they have to stay in their home. Yes, and can't go shopping. And then, he noticed, and at the end, he said, we were at a traffic light, he said, "Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this discussion. I didn't want this discussion, but thank you very much." So that was nice that at least he didn't hit me. And then that was funny. Then just 50 meters further, there was an old man with a dog, maybe around 70 years, and a lady who was a cleaner and in front of the shop, and she cleaned, and both of them said, initially they didn't want to say anything, and then after like 2-3 minutes, it was astonishing. The older man with the dog, the 70-year-old, said, "This is all fake. It's a flu, and I'm not afraid of it. It's a normal flu, and it will go away. There's no problem, and I will not." And I don't forget this, because I didn't mention any name, nothing. And he said, 70 years old, and you thought, well, he never, read anything about. He said, "I do not take any vaccination from Bill Gates." That was what? Okay. Where did you hear that? And then he left, and oh yeah, he said, but we cannot do anything. And I said, oh yeah, we cannot do anything. And I'm 70 years old, and I have another 5, 10 years to live, and in that, I don't care. And I said, and you with your kids and your grandkids, what is about them? Oh yes, oh yes, they will have hard times. That's what he said. Oh yes, hard times. I don't want to be born in these. Oh no, terrible. Yes, and then he left. And the lady then said to me, "This is yeah, this is like World War II, before World War II. This is." You cannot do anything. They control us, and I never thought that because she has not been at a university and so, but very wise. I don't know. I would say it's like their feeling. They feel that there's something wrong. Okay, now we are at 39 and 40. Oh, that was another very interesting thing. So two ladies, they were talking to each other, and I said, "Hey ladies, what do you think about Corona?" And then one of the ladies, the younger one, said, "What do you want?" She was very aggressive, and I said, "Well, what do you think about forced vaccination and so on?" And she kind of looked at me in a disgusted way, and then turned around and left. And then the other lady, talked to me, and she even gave me names of people, of doctors that actually told her that this is a complete fake, that's set up completely. She also wanted my card and so on. So, and she said, oh, there's a lot of other things where lobbyists are very, very influential. So she said, terrible, terrible, terrible. And so that was very funny because the two ladies, one of them, the extreme side of being completely disgusted from my ideas, and the other saying, actually more than I was saying, they're saying, whoops, and knowing more and being informed, very, very well informed. So that is kind of the 40 people I asked. It took me about 7 days to interview all those. And it gave me really the thing. I know what the population thinks, not to the percentage, but I actually ask them so I could actually look into their brains. Why do they? It's not like a check sheet, done, or rated from 0 to 10. No, they actually gave me really information with words they were using and so on. So that was fantastic. And I wanted also to improve my own knowledge about this whole Corona game, as I call it. Thanks for listening up to here. It's hard, but I have to say, in 28 minutes, you have received the feedback of 40 people, and it took me maybe to get that feedback. Maybe it took me 10 hours. Yeah, so you get in half an hour, 10 hours of my interviews with these guys. Okay, so very efficient for you. Thanks for listening, and talk to you the next time.